Welcome back to Average Mike's, guys. If you are new to the channel and you just came across this video, I have been doing a kitchen remodel, my own personal kitchen, and the link above is to that playlist. You can go through and watch what I've completed so far. I did want to talk today about kitchen cabinets, the different prices or price ranges you can go in, different styles and different options that you may have when redoing your kitchen. So basically you have your box store cabinets with Lowe's, Home Depot, something of that nature, depending on where you live. I'll call those in-stock cabinets. I think back a while ago all they really had were a few options. Now they seem to have some more customizable options for you. But then you have RTA cabinets, or ready to assemble cabinets. They're more online, and we'll get into those a little bit too. And then you have your custom built, local. You can probably have a local kitchen cabinet store that you can go to, and you can pretty much design your kitchen cabinets in any way you want. So I researched all three. I've actually done two of the three before. Back in 2000, around 2012, I redid my old house kitchen. I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I knew I wasn't living there. I wasn't planning to live there for too much longer. It was just a house temporarily that I had until we had one kid already. We were going to have some more. We knew we were going to buy a new house, so I didn't want to go crazy with the money. But we wanted to redo the kitchen because it was really old. It would help to resell the value of the house, the resale value of the house. So basically, we did the box store method. Now, back then, and I could be wrong, but back then I really don't think they had too many options. I know as far as in-stock cabinets go, they had a white cabinet. They had a typical natural color cabinet, and a darker cherry color cabinet. Those were pretty much what you had to go with, unless you sat down with a designer, and they may have more options, and they definitely have more options now. But the same thing, you'd have to sit down with a designer, and they can help you with a couple brands that they deal with. We didn't go down that route, but basically the inventory or in-store option they have are on the cheaper side. So they are particle board, and I'll show you pictures. But basically, instead of real plywood, they are particle board that has laminate over top, similar to what you would get in furniture that you would buy from a Target or a Kohl's that you can bring home, put together yourself. It's the MDF or particle board with laminate, which is fine. The only problem is it doesn't really last as long. If you're planning on staying in your home for the rest of your life, you would probably have to do your cabinets again at some point. The cabinets that I have currently in this house are those cabinets. They're builder grade cabinets. They were put up when the builders built the house 11 years ago. They go with a nice looking cheap option, and again, it's fine until as they get to the 10-year mark, the laminate might start bubbling a little bit if it gets wet. The rollers on the drawers, depending on a little bit of abuse, they could break off. The particle board could break off where the screws attach, causing the drawer to not seat right. We actually had that problem with one of the drawers in the cabinet we have now. Again, it's fine, but if you're gonna do it, and that's how I did it in my old house, just to make it look nice. And they're good cabinets for a good number of years, but they're not lifetime cabinets. But I spent probably in the $3,000 to $5,000 range for the cabinets, and you know, they did what it needed for me. Same with the cabinets that are installed in my house now. They did what they needed for the builders, right? So we did go down the route of custom cabinets. So I went to the higher end place, and I gave them the design, or I gave them a drawing of what the kitchen was, all the size of the current cabinets. We weren't changing much other than the island. They would not break out the pricing per cabinet. It's basically a total design package. They did have, my wife picked out a style of wood. I forget what it was. Maybe it's maple, but the color stain similar to what we had priced out with the other RTA cabinet store. What kind of design, I guess it's not really design, but there you can add a bead, and we kind of wanted to match it up the best we could with the way the RTA design was, and I'll get to the RTA in a second. But we wanted to keep it, you know, apples to apples as best we could. They did not. So with the RTA store, we had decorative door panels for the sides of the cabinet, so it's not just a blank piece of skin board, they call it. But they did have an option where they call it a furniture finish, which was a little bit nicer in the middle. We did put decorative door around the island, but not the on the sides of the cabinets, and the wall cabinets and the base cabinets. So all in all, it was very similar. The only thing that was different that we really liked, I wish we could have had, was the inset doors, where instead of the doors for the cabinets being, you know, a hinge, basically a normal cabinet door, they have an inset option where the door is flush with the frame of the cabinet. It looked pretty slick, honestly, but you know, given our option, it was really the only one bigger difference in these cabinets versus the RTA cabinet, so that I could tell. So they ended up, they took all of our information and we left. That later that day, they sent us a email with basically a design. I'll show you that here. Very nice, very professional, very similar to what the RTA cabinet company sent. The price was up there. It was, you know, going again, box store in inventory, it's a lot cheaper of a cabinet. You're spending $3,000 to $5,000. These cabinets, the list price was, I think, it was just under $20,000. Now my old kitchen had, I would say, similar amount of cabinets, no frills, no nothing. So you're looking, like I said, $3,000 to $5,000. I maybe definitely $5,000, given the, you know, years later and probably a couple more cabinets. It was $19,000 X amount of dollars, and they're running promotion, 30% off. They're running this deal, that deal. Basically got it down to just under $12,000 for all the cabinets, which, comparing the two, Box Store versus this place, a higher end place, it sounds great. Well, I wouldn't say great, but it sounds really good. Sounds like, it's worth it. It definitely is worth it to have higher options. So, especially if you're planning to be there at your house for a while. So, the problem is I already went to an RTA place called Lillian Cabinets. There are a bunch of different ones. You can go check them out online. I did choose Lillian Cabinets because we liked what they had, and they seem to be on the cheaper side of all the RTA cabinets. Now, RTA cabinets, ready to assemble, means that you're going to have to build the cabinets, kind of like IKEA, kinda. The thing with these are they are all made of plywood, just like the higher end cabinets are. The difference, they had the soft closed doors like the other cabinets. They have the the stronger rollouts for the drawers and what have you. The only thing that they don't have is the inset doors, and actually you really don't have as many options. Now, for me and my wife, we don't like we'd rather see cabinets and pick and choose, basically. The idea of having all those different options is a little too much for us. It's not our thing. We'd rather see a cabinet or see a display and say, yeah, I want that one. I don't need to pick exactly what color stain. I don't need to pick. Honestly, we just wanted a darker cabinet, a little fancier design on it, not just a basic design. We wanted the all plywood, which RTA cabinets were. We liked the soft close part, which they are. We did like the inset, but RTA cabinets, at least Lillian RTA cabinets, don't have that. But all in all, it was everything that the other store had. The only thing was you had to build them yourself, and building them really only was, and I'll show you as soon as they come in, the only difference with building them was, the only thing you had to do for building them is sliding panels in the dovetails or whatever grooves that they use, which all plywood cabinets would have already. It's just that it's already built for you. You basically, throw some glue down in the joint, slide the panel in, slide all the panels in same way, and then once everything's kind of built, you have a couple L brackets or what have you. And there's videos on Lillian cabinets to show you how to build the cabinets generically. So it really, yeah, it's going to take some time, but it really didn't. I'm okay with it. If you're doing your own kitchen remodeling, that's minor compared to what you're in for, right? The one thing they did have an option to have the cabinets. I saw it. I was checking out. They had the option for them to build them for you. I think for mine it was $800. Now I don't know. I didn't investigate that further because I didn't want to spend $800 on that, knowing that I could do it myself. I don't know if that also included shipping, because obviously, an unbuilt cabinet is a lot smaller than a built cabinet when it comes to shipping. So I don't know if that would affect the shipping price. My order was over a certain amount. I think it was $3,000. It was over $3,000, so shipping was free. Now, the lead time for the specially made cabinets was 6 weeks. Lillian Cabinets told me 14 days start basically from process to my house. the problem with that is, with all the crazy stuff going in the world today, I'm not going to be able to judge them on that part of it. I don't know if the cabinets are going to make it here within the 14 days, and I really don't blame them for that. It's just everybody's being affected by what's going on today. So let's get into the pricing. I'll show you the design here for the Lillian cabinet show gave us. Looks very similar to what the other place gave. I will say that I went back and forth with the Lillian Cabinets salesperson, and he went back and forth with their design team. It was a little slow. I would have liked a little better turnaround time. Every time I made a change, I think we went back and forth 3 or 4 times, and every time was almost a week of going back and forth to get everything. And basically, it was, we want this kind of cabinet here, we want this kind of cabinet there, we want taller cabinets here, taller cabinets there. So, but basically, in the end, everything's laid out. All the crown molding, all the scribe molding, all the toe kick, everything's listed out. I just went and purchased the order, and it ended up coming up to about $5,200. And I'm showing you as I'm trying to think. I'll show you the quote price, but the width. I don't know if you guys use Honey, and I'm not. Nobody's sponsoring me. I'm very, very small. The app Honey for the browser works wonders, and I was checking out, and it popped up and said, "Hey, let's see if you have any discount codes." And it went through and saved me like $750. No lie. There was some kind of discount code, and the total went under 5. I think it was $4,700 for all the cabinets, and that shipped. So, honestly, those are all the pros and cons of all 3 that I can think of. Obviously, time will tell with RTA cabinets. The first time that I even researched, or even researched rather than used RTA cabinets, and hopefully it all goes well. They did have some reviews that were bad, and you got to take the good with the bad, right? Not everybody's going to have a perfect experience. I will say though that with the bad reviews, most of the time they were resolved, and that is basically, it's very strict. From what I can tell, it's very strict when they deliver the cabinets. You have to make sure there's no visible damage as the driver's there, right? Because then they can go ahead to the driver if the package was damaged. That's one step. Then obviously you have X amount of days to determine if there are any issues with your order. You have to make sure when the driver delivers it, you have to make sure everything is there, and you have to make sure nothing's damaged. And then you have so many days to basically open up the cabinets, make sure there actually is no damage, maybe in manufacturing. So you want to basically get these things built. Now you can't, if there is damage and you already started to build it, they make it right out in front, say if you built it, you confirmed that there was no damage. So you can't build the cabinet and then turn around and say, no, this cabinet's damaged. So that's another way, or another thing you have to watch out for. So as long as we check when the driver gets here, everything's okay, and check the cabinet before we start building it, make sure everything's there, nothing's damaged, more so the face obviously than anything. But a lot of the reviews had that, and a lot of the reviews said that they were a little hard to get a hold of, which I could kind of, they're not hard to get hold of from what I could tell. It's just sometimes they're a little slow. So, and that's just with this one company. So we'll get them. I'll film getting them for you guys. I'll film building them. Obviously, the kitchen remodeling still going on, so you can again click on the playlist for my channel, so you can subscribe, do post notifications, comment below if you had any experience with RTA cabinets or the company Lillian cabinets to begin with. Yeah, I like to hear. I like to hear what you have to say. Hopefully, this gives you an idea. If you have the money, go all out. Go to your local cabinetry place, and you know you can spend that kind of money. I just, to me, there wasn't enough pros that the RTA cabinets didn't have as well to spend the basically double the amount of money, even more than double. So hopefully this helps anybody looking, or gives any insight on for anyone looking at cabinets or looking to purchase cabinets to do their kitchen remodel. If you have any questions, comment below. I'm usually pretty good with comment or replying to those. And again, I'm continuing to remodel, so go ahead, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and you'll get. I've been pumping them out. I try to do every week, so we're almost at the point now. We're going to start painting, and then we're on hold until the cabinets get here. So until then, be safe. A lot of stuff going on these days, and we'll make sure everybody be safe, quarantine, social distancing, and try to fight that battle too. So I guess at this point, I will catch you on the next one. Later.